I'm Chris Barker.
And I'm Will Betts, and this is the MusicTech My Forever Studio podcast, brought to you in partnership with Audient. And we're coming to you from TYX Studios in London.
In this podcast, we speak with musicians, DJs, engineers and producers about their fantasy forever studio.
The Fantasyland studio that our guests dream up is one that they must live with for eternity. But even in the world of studio foreverdom, we have a few rules.
Indeed, our guests will select a computer, a DAW and an audio interface. Those are the three items we let everybody choose. Then our guests will choose just 6 other bits of studio kit and 1 luxury item.
However,
no bundles! Yes, no bundles.
Choosing something sold as a package of separate software or hardware as a single item is not allowed.
Our guest this time is an amazing self-producing singer and songwriter who took to TikTok in lockdown and went viral with a cover of Britney's Toxic.
Yes, their witty lyrics, catchy hooks and fantastic production has seen them gain millions of streams, play Glastonbury and even get their track embedded in Logic as a demo song.
That's a nerd flex. I love it. This is My Forever Studio with Ellie Dixon. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's build the studio.
Let's go. I'm so pumped for this. I've treated this like homework.
Okay.
Oh,
and you've
great.
got the notes.
I've got my notes page
okay.
up.
Right.
I'm really.
You're
I'm
a
a
prepper.
planner. I'm a real planner. I'm a real type A.
Okay.
Fun at parties.
Okay. Right. Well, before we get into the list, let's expand on our little intro there. And it sort of seems a bit frivolous to say we went viral on TikTok and here you are. We didn't mean it to sound like that, but as in, tell us about that journey though, that story, because you've always made music for a long time, and then the pandemic sort of changed things and shift things around, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been producing for, I'm old now, 13 years, since I was 13, basically, and like, it's just that was kind of the first thing I really fell in love with. Like, as a singer, an artist, writer, musician, really production was kind of the first thing I became truly like obsessed with.
And what tools were you obsessed with? What were the first?
So the way I discovered production was my dad downloaded Mixcraft on the family computer back when you'd have to like bargain for time after school of who gets the computer. It's actually, I still have a friend that produces on it. I don't know if he still does, but shout out George Moyer, because he makes the most unbelievable like instrumentals on Mixcraft still.
It's been out for a long time.
Yeah, it really has.
Since the beginning.
It was cool, and it was quite.
So why Mixcraft?
I genuinely, you know what? I've quoted this so many times, and I've never asked Dad why he did that. I don't know. He's just a techie guy. Yeah, phone him right now. Phone a friend. I don't know why he downloaded it, but he's a very like creative techie person.
He must have researched it and gone, that's the one, because it's not something that's in the conscious of most musicians. They've like even conversationally, most people will have heard of Pro Tools, Ableton, Logic, GarageBand.
I mean, it was just cheap, I guess, and I don't know how much it was back in the day, but I basically at that point also I didn't have an interface or anything. Like, this was the family. What I did have was one of those like old school PC microphones
on the little stand.
On the little stand.
Yeah, the little goose.
Yeah, and then we had like an even weirder one that was like a little bass with this tiny little stick.
Yeah,
really strange. That was the only kind of input I had into it, and the MIDI keyboard. But I was just dragging and dropping like loops in, and I just couldn't believe that I could like put Irish flute over like rock drums. I was like, I'm Mozart.
I don't know much about it. Does it do the thing where it like puts it in the right key for you and tempo stretch it and things, or?
I can't remember. I think you set the key of the project and then it kind of did it for you. I'm sure there was. You could get way more into it if you wanted to change things up, but I was using it pretty basic stage, just dragging and dropping stuff in, and it would work magically straight away, which is perfect for someone who's just started and just getting to know the feeling of like it feels like immaculate conception. You know what I mean? It's like I just made something from nothing in a way, and I always like hone into that when I'm making music still. Like, that is still the main kind of like magic and motivator that always makes me, I never lose that childlike joy of like, it's in here and now it's in real life, like from brain to physical audio world.
Take us to the next stage then. When did it start getting serious, or more serious, when you were like, right, Mixcraft isn't cutting it, or the family computer isn't cutting it, or whatever? When?
So it was at school. I moved secondary schools, and I came from a secondary school that was very like performance, like more classical performance or like real instrument performance, and I was like trying to learn clarinet and just didn't get on with it, and I never dealt well with lessons. Like I started doing piano lessons when I was like 7, and I would like hide under the piano before my lessons hoping he wouldn't see me. I don't know why I thought that would be a good hiding place from my piano teachers under the piano. I think I really struggled with like this kind of idea of like discipline and learning these pieces by rote. Then I moved schools, and they had it was back when, you know, loads of state schools could get extra funding by calling themselves an academy and specialising in something. My second secondary school, because we moved house, picked like the performing arts basically, and so they got a suite of Macs all with Logic on, a recording studio for 11 to 15 year olds, absolutely mad. And so I suddenly was learning how to use Logic, and I actually hated it because I was used to Mixcraft, and I was like, this is rubbish, and I get so angry. And then I got used to it and realised how amazing it was, and I started doing lots of like orchestral stuff.
That's huge for you though, like, and it's also, without getting political, it says a lot though. It's like the access to the stuff changed everything. Yeah,
exactly. And it was purely just like the angle the school wanted to go down, you know.
And there's so many kids because of budgets and stuff that don't get access to Macs or studios or whatever, and it's like and you need consistent repeated access as well, because when I first touched Logic, I was like, I don't understand what this is, having already used a piece of software as well, so it wasn't like the concepts were new, it was just like, where's the button? And I where's the button? That's
temper
true though.
With technology. So I was just getting...
Well, when you're trying to get the ideas out of your head, or you're just trying to do something, it's frustrating when it's like...
Exactly.
Especially if you've got another tool that you know works. And it's like, why am I even... I could have had this done by now.
Yeah. And then slowly fell in love with that. Out of Mixcraft, I went to Audacity because... I ended up getting a proper microphone, which was gorgeous, AKG C214, that I still have, that I still use, 12 years later.
That's a great mic as well.
It's great. Yeah. And I think it's me and the mic have an understanding at this point. Like, I think my voice really sits well with this microphone. Got the AKG C214, then started using it in Audacity, but at that point there was no like snapping to grid. There was a metronome, but it was like living on a prayer a little bit, so everything was kind of all over the place. But I just loved like recording audio over and over basically, because it didn't have a lot of like VST, and like there's no really instruments in it. There's a little bit, but not much. And then I finally upgraded to Logic as a birthday present, I think. How old was I? Maybe 18. And I finally got Logic.
Was some of those limits because of Mac and PC and family computer being PC, or?
Oh yeah, that was it. I actually forgot. Yeah, the whole thing was that I needed a MacBook basically
for Logic.
But it just was the thing I was so comfortable on after working on it, and I took music GCSE, so I got really comfortable with it, and then took MusicTech A-level, which you also did at the same school, as it turns out.
Weird coincidence, Shout out Barry Watson.
Shout out Barry.
I feel like I'm not alumni here, so...
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
So, missed out
on that.
So, you ended up at sixth form doing MusicTech?
And then I dropped it.
Oh, right, okay.
I only did 1 year of it because I was doing... further maths, physics, French. I was doing some really intense A-levels. I found the coursework with the MusicTech coursework was just a lot, and I was basically like, this is the only thing I can still do at home. Like, I can't just be doing like sums in my bedroom, and I really love doing maths and physics and all these other things. So I just dropped the thing that meant the only thing that I could keep doing in my own time. And also I don't really deal well with like being told what to do so much with coursework, it just being like, you have to do this thing, this is the deadline.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much creative freedom in
terms of the music.
Yeah. And I learned so much. Like in that first year, I'm so glad I did it, because it gave me this kind of foundational knowledge of just kind of how sound works. And I think that has just helped me endlessly, because my production then still didn't sound good for probably about 5 to 6 years after that. But having the foundational knowledge of like how EQ works, how a compressor works, how sound even reaches your ears, how the psychology of the factual thing we hear versus what we think we hear, and all these things. I mean, that is so fascinating to me. Like the psychology of that is.
I think a lot of creative people struggle with studying the topics like art and music and stuff, because obviously teachers need to grade it somehow, but it's kind of
I didn't like
so
that.
objective, subjective, and then things like coursework, it's like this, what?
Yeah.
Like how it doesn't make any sense, because you don't have that in the real world either. You don't need to show your workings or show your influence or
exactly,
or do a project to prove that you know how to edit a sample, or it's
yeah, and I still really enjoyed it. I remember I did a house remix of I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys.
Yes, nice.
With full key change at the end.
Oh, beautiful.
Who's putting a key change in a house track?
Yeah.
This girl. It was, I can't find it as well. I wish I could find it, because I think it was
just do it again.
Really cursed.
It'd be a great
just try and recreate it from memory.
Yeah.
Absolute madness.
No, just approach it again. And it'd be interesting with all you know now.
Yeah.
Song prompt, Backstreet Boys house version.
Yeah. Oh my God, okay.
Yeah.
This is going to go crazy in the club. You're going to see that in the charts.
But keep putting key changes in.
Oh, every 10 seconds.
No, just when you get the first key change and people are like, and then another.
Oh, it's a love on top situation.
Oh, love on top situation.
And fade out.
Yeah.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
DJs love a fade out. It'll get played loads.
It's just Beyonce didn't stop singing. It's like another key change. We're getting out your range now. Fade you out. Dropped the MusicTech, but it was just the kind of first principles of how everything works meant that when I started, the true learning is just making music over and over and over again, but knowing the kind of almost like science, I guess, of why these things are doing what they're doing. Was so helpful.
And with your background as well, you were doing maths and physics as well. Presumably that was like, there was an extra layer of interest for you then in the science side of how that all worked.
Yeah, like the science of audio, and then
acoustics and psychoacoustics and reflections.
I didn't really get massively into like acoustics, just because I think that's a whole other art.
It's insane,
that also wouldn't let me be creative again, and so it was kind of this middle ground that I love. That's like there is this scientific side, but then there is this kind of pure creation and freedom, and I think that's where I am the happiest. I'm the most in the zone, and I just love thinking about the psychology of it and how the listener is going to receive something, and thinking about like perceived loudness versus loudness. Because I when I first started putting music out, which was literally just through like, I think it was TuneCore, when I ended up doing a maths degree, because I was like, again, I can just keep making music. This is the thing that, I can't do maths in my own time. You can to an extent, but a bit weird.
But people will sign an unqualified musician. Nobody's going to hire an unqualified mathematician, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting it. Like it was, and also at that point, because by this point I'm also now being a solo artist. I'm writing, I'm performing, and performing was a whole journey because I had really bad stage fright, and so when I was going into uni at 18, I just didn't think I could be an artist because of how intensely I struggled with performing. So like the concept of going on tour, I was like, I will die. Like I will have so many panic attacks. Like I could barely eat for 2 days running up to a gig. Wow. So it just I just didn't think it was possible, but I still loved doing it. And so
that's a new modern thing in the music industry though, where you can't really exist. It is hard to exist as an artist without doing live, whereas maybe 20, 30 years ago, you would have been like, just right, I'm just going to make records. Like, you can be a producer, you can still be creative and output stuff. Whereas that doesn't really make any money and it doesn't pay the bills as much, does it, to be just...
Well, I also loved it. It was a weird thing of like, I loved doing it, and it was almost like my soul was like dragging me kicking and screaming to do the thing that was so terrifying, because I almost knew there was something behind this wall of fear. And so throughout uni, I just kept playing shows, and they got more and more fun, and my friends could now drink before my shows and would show up screaming all the lyrics, like smashed at the barrier. And that was like, that suddenly started opening up this kind of new avenue of confidence, I guess. And so, so I did this master degree, but I was kind of always making music in the background, and I was mixing and mastering all these EPs. So every summer all my course mates would go off and do internships, and I would just stay at home, make an EP, and then go back to uni again. And I just didn't think anything of it, and I'm so grateful that my parents let me do that. I can't remember the conversation that was me just going like, not going to do that, I'm going to sit at the computer, bye. But that's they've always just been so supportive, and I think they've always been like, as long as I'm working on something and pushing myself.
It's not like you're out partying or like it's just like you.
There'd be words if I was just watching the TV. But it was exactly. I was clearly doing something that I loved and was pushing myself. And because I was mixing and mastering it, I ended up having to do lots of research into how do you mix a track, how do you master a track, like why is this not loud enough? I'm putting more layers in. It should be louder. And then learning about like the system's capped at this much, and suddenly you're learning about like frequency real estate of like you kind of hit this wall of how much of any one sound you can have, and then it's the psychology of what actually sounds loud. And that was when I was getting into researching mastering and how to get volume out of a track. And so I ended up actually learning a lot and hitting my head against the wall a lot, because I was doing it all on my own, and just me and Google and YouTube, just a little trio trying to work out how to make this song louder.
So was there a specific track or production moment that you can look back on and go, that was the sort of turning point when either other people were looking at you or outward or inwardly you were like, right, this is the one that I can present to the world, or was it really gradual?
I think it was really gradual, but there was a turning point. There was a couple of turning points. The first turning point was a song called Freak that I put out, I think just after I graduated, or the summer before I graduated. So I would have been 20, maybe. 19, 20. And I was listening to, what had just come out? Feel It Still by Portugal the Man.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the production on it, and it was really simple, and there wasn't a lot of layers in it, but it had so much punch. And for some, I don't know why it was this song, but that song suddenly like hit something in my brain where I was like, maybe less is more. Because I was such like a wall of sound stack, loads of acoustic guitars, and it was quite folky at the start as well, because I didn't have a whole lot of tech. And so me, an interface, a microphone, and Logic, I was recording a lot of acoustic guitar. I didn't have an electric guitar at that point. Where I had one, but it was like 20 quid, and it didn't sound good when I plugged it in, and I had no pedals, and I didn't really know what a pedal was. So it was really like, it's just gonna sound acoustic, basically. And then Freak was the first thing that started to sound more indie pop. And I went down this road of like, okay, I'm really reducing the number of tracks I'm putting into this. I'm going to be way more deliberate. And I was writing on a loop pedal most of the time at this point. I had a Boss RC 300 at this point, and that was what I was writing on. And you can't layer too much of that before it gets really messy. And so that was my writing tool at uni, because I didn't have any recording equipment with me. It was all at home.
Right.
And so it was like, I would just do as much as I could on the loop pedal and like film myself, and then when I'd get home for the summer, I'd then record it all,
re-record it all, basically.
Yeah,
so you're sort of demoing ideas, like
and what was really nice about loop pedal is it's kind of like a really quick DAW in the sense that you're stacking and you can input really quickly, and it's
and
quite
you can arrange quite quickly using it, like turning stuff on and off and things like that.
Yeah, and the RC300's great for that as well, because you got three different looping channels. You've got like undo, you've got a bunch of effects pre-built in as well. So it was pretty comprehensive in terms of just sitting with one little piece of kit with like no like computer monitor, just a little screen. That was how I was doing most of my writing. And then I think the next production turning point was when I released a song called Space Out but this is jumping forward to in COVID now, because I graduated uni, thought I don't want to do maths for my job because it's all not sounding very interesting. I think if I had, I would have gone into coding. I did more computer science in my third year at uni, which was fun. But I just wanted to play shows, and I joined the uni's band society. Shout out to Bandsoc, and started formed a band with the help of the society, and we just had so much fun. And so I was like, I want to do this. And so I moved back home in with my parents. And I was like, can I do this, please? And they were like, okay, you get 1 year. Show us your plan. Let's go. So I was gigging loads for 6 months, making music, putting a couple of tracks out. Then COVID hit. And as someone who did everything myself in my bedroom and was still kind of stressed out by live shows, I was like, well.
How the turntables.
This kind of suits me, because you know where my studio is, in my house. So I was quite, uniquely qualified to deal with a lockdown. And so I started producing and really focusing on like getting my prod skills up, and then also social media, because I love video and hadn't really ever had a chance to commit to it. I'd do like 2 videos in the summer and then we'll go back to uni or school or whatever, and so I never got to commit to like post. And I grew up with YouTube. I grew up with like Walk Off the Earth and Dodie and like all these, and Paint. Did anyone ever watch John Cozart? He did After Ever After, so he like sung these incredible like a cappella arrangements of Disney songs, but singing about the like grisly demise of Disney princesses.
Okay.
Amongst loads of other stuff. But I've always been watching, like musicians on YouTube who were doing things themselves in their room. And I really saw myself in them, and so that was something I just wanted to commit to through COVID. And then Space Out was the first song I put out after doing kind of just absolutely drilling like songwriting challenges and covers. I was doing loads of DIY covers at this point, so I was sampling random objects. Like I did a cover of Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles, but the whole production is just made from sounds from a watermelon and stuff like. Oh, and a bass guitar, because turns out you can't get a bass out of a watermelon. Try my best. You actually can, but not the way I wanted it.
You can't get bass out of a watermelon.
There you go.
Get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah,
that's the episode title.
You got any merch?
Yeah, could do merch. Yeah.
And then we said in the intro that the Britney's Toxic one was that kind of like, that was a turning point to where people would want to sort of work with you and invest in you, like labels and those kind of things. When did that go? Does that
it was a really gradual, sort of not. Like the TikTok numbers started going pretty crazy, but I was putting YouTube videos and Instagram videos out for ages before TikTok. And then some of my friends were like, you should go on TikTok, they'd really like it over there. And I'm like, what is TikTok? What are you talking about? And I would put my like immaculately produced landscape YouTube videos onto TikTok, like the kids are gonna love this one, and then it would like bomb.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is this not working? And then I was scrolling for a while, and then I was like, okay, I get it. Like, firstly, turn your camera the other way. Yeah. Then, realizing the types of things people were after. And so and I love harmony and vocal layering. That's always just been a massive love of mine. And so it all just kind of like came together really nicely, where I was writing these verses on songs, and that was what the Britney cover was. But the first thing that started going viral was these harmony layering videos, because I love, again, back to the psychology of music, I find it really interesting, this idea of when is a melody recognizable, or what if you take... I was an alto in choirs, by the way. I just sung in loads of choirs growing up, and anyone who's an alto knows that like you sing the weirdest part of the harmony.
And if you take that out, it's no longer the melody.
It's completely unrecognizable.
And it's often very static as well.
Very static, and just like, what is this?
Yeah.
And so I took that to the extreme, where I started writing more and more complex harmonies and showing the weirdness that you get away with in the context of a really sweet triad. If you pick one interval within that, it will sound completely different. Or if you pick one line, your brain will automatically assume a different key, and like your perspective on what the root key of a song is. And this is anyone. This isn't people with like music theory knowledge. This is, our brains are really clever. It's just people with music theory understanding know what to call it. But everyone can find a home in some way, and that's how people who are completely untrained can still go, oh, that sounds out of key. That sounds pitchy. This sounds good. This sounds bad. Yeah. Like finding ways of basically showing people how clever their brains are with, if you just show them the small bit in the middle and then stacking the stuff that gives it context, and you go, oh, it's that thing. And that was my whole series, Guess the Song.
Right.
Which I still do live, which is really fun. I'm going on tour next week, and I'm picking some really funny songs to do Guess the Song with.
Can you give us any previews?
I'll be on tour by this point, so it's fine. Yeah. I'm going to do the We theme, and it just starts with me going like da 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 da. And everyone's like, you can't tell what that is, especially when you don't know what to expect. So you're like, I've told you. So you're primed, like, obviously that's the We theme. But if you're like,
I wasn't like obviously, but I could hear it in it. And I was like, if you didn't know what you were going into, you'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, because if you're expecting like, I don't know, an old blues record, like you have no idea.
In all of music, you've got to pick that out.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, this could be anything. And again, this is this whole thing of like playing with people's brains and what they're expecting versus then the moment at which something clicks, I think is such a magic moment.
You do that. You have that with rhythms as well, where like that whole thing where a rhythm is cycling at the start of a song, and then where the one drops. And you're like,
that's not I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've actually got a song coming out soon, actually, that it plays with that exact thing. It's like the most rhythmically nerdy thing I've ever written, where it basically you start grooving, and then it comes, and you go, oh, that's wrong. And even things like the grouping of beats, because there's a moment in the song where you can clap like the whole time and you'll still be in time, but the emphasis changes completely, and it's all about like the way your body wants to move with it is completely different.
I love all those videos that do that with like the Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Oh,
where you can sit
playing on the work.
But you can do loads of different versions of and they all technically are in time and they work, but your mind's like, no, that's not. That's not it. That's not the one.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. That just started getting loads of traction basically, and so then I was putting original music out alongside that. Spaced Out being the first one, and that was really when I locked in on sound, and it was just because I was spending so much time on my computer. Like I didn't take a day off. I was at that computer 7 days a week for like a year in lockdown, and I loved it, and I wasn't doing anything else, you know. And then major labels started getting in contact, and I got a manager through Instagram. And yeah, it all kind of suddenly started looking like a career, and that was the goal. So but it
proves, like, obviously have to be talented and good, but consistency and just constantly doing it. It's like you can have one great record, fine, but you have to support it with social content and consistent stuff and build an audience before people start contacting you. And it's people want shortcuts, don't they? But like that's a year of you doing it full time for zero money, pretty much. And it's like this is what it takes.
Yeah, exactly. And also people don't know what you're doing behind closed doors as well. Like, I made everything I was doing as public as possible, and not cynically either. I just love sharing stuff. I'm just basically, me posting online is the same thing as me running downstairs and going, Mum, look at this thing I made. But then I get that like times 1,000, then times 2,000. It's really exciting, and I think that like excitement really started to form a fan base quite quickly, because everyone's like, what's this crazy cat gonna do next, you know? And we formed quite this humorous bond, I think, me and my fan base, where we just, they're like, go on, what have you got for us? There's this sort of unpredictability, I think, in what I do, that I love that they've given me the space to do.
Well, speaking of unpredictability, let's see how predictable your first choices are.
Oh, here we go.
Before we get to the gear, let's talk about where you would have your studio in the world and what the kind of vibe is. What does it look like?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is really boring, but
okay, next question. Right.
Yeah, this question. Imagine me going, this question's really boring. My answer's really boring. It's gonna be in my house. Okay. I think no matter. So where's your
house though? You could. This is your Fantasy Forever studio.
So my address is
no, but as in like you
London.
So you would still keep it in London?
I would keep it in London because all my friends are here. My whole network's here. I want to be able to have a session with a mate. Anyone like, you know, people are in London all the time. If my favourite artist is in London, I can come to my studio. I want to be able to finish a session, then go hang out with my mates. Like, I want it as connected as possible to my life. So it's in my house. It is a bedroom studio, but it is not my bedroom.
Okay.
There is a bed in it.
Spare bedroom studio,
but it has to have a bed in it. It has to feel exactly like a bedroom. But I'm thinking it's sort of tacked on to, this isn't possible. I live in a flat. In this imaginary, beautiful universe, I'm in a house. I've got a garden. Why not? We're talking real estate now. I'm in a really nice little...
How crazy we are nowadays. I've got a garden. Imagine that. Can you believe it? Have you got a garden? No, I haven't either.
In London?
No.
Who's having that?
No. God. The fantasy crazy world we live in, where humans have an outdoor space
where you can actually touch your own grass.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is communal grass. I'm touching.
Question: bed in that room for acoustic purposes, or other?
For
no, I just mean like to sit on. Like, I didn't mean anything by that. Sorry.
It's a groovy studio.
It's a lot.
So sorry. I didn't go there.
No, I took it there.
Okay, great.
First date, and this is for acoustic purposes. If you know what I'm saying.
For acoustic purposes.
Strictly for acoustic.
I've been single for 10 years.
I'm still working on the old Bracewell.
But why is the bed important in the bedroom studio?
Well, I think it provides like this level of informalness. Firstly, like, it's just great. It's like a giant sofa, but there's more of it, which I love. I have professional sessions where they just come in and I'm like, don't mind my bed. But it forced me to keep my room nice and tidy, which is good. It's the only reason I clean, really.
Guests.
Yeah. I'm
I love that story about the guy that had a bad roommate, and he went on Tinder as a fake profile, and basically like was like, oh, shall I come round tonight, to get his roommate to tidy up. And then be like, cancel at the last minute.
That's genius.
It's great.
Oh my gosh.
That's because we've all been there, even if it's not dates, but like if somebody makes plans to come around your house, you have it tidy up, and you smash it in like 2.5 hours or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Rather no procrastination.
It's an insane level of hyperfocus. I don't
and then they cancel, and you go, oh, well, my house is brilliant now.
Nice.
Great.
I guess I'll enjoy this to myself for acoustic purposes.
Purely.
I love a bed. Like, people can like sprawl out on it, like write on it. I love sitting in bed with a guitar.
Yeah.
Like that's how we all started. So I think there's this kind of informalness that sets a tone with all my like writing, all my sessions, like when I'm writing for myself, that's really like not self-conscious.
Build a picture though, because in my head the bed is up against the wall, sort of in a corner. Or are you thinking the bed like a bedroom, like in the middle of the room? Or
so I'm thinking I think it's in a corner, but it's got to be a nice big open space. Just big old square. Like,
but you can access the bed from both sides or only from one side. That's
from one side.
Yes, that's what I was imagining.
So it gives it more sofa energy. I'm thinking pillows all the way round, so it's still kind of sofa-y.
No, we're on the same page. I was just trying to get that image in my head correct, because especially after the acoustic situation. But like,
you're never living that down.
No, never living that down.
That's going to be for episodes to come. But yeah, it's very bedroomy, carpeted, nice rugs, and then like clutter, like loads of random stuff on shelves everywhere. Because for me, like, I sample so many random objects. I want to just... And it normally comes from almost like convenience. I'm like, I need like a little tap sound. And my desk is covered in like, I have Mike Wazowski in a Hot Wheels. I've got...
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't? Yeah. I got like pot of pens. I've got all this random clutter on my desk that I'll just pick up and hit.
Yeah.
And so there's this sort of tactile immediateness. And it's the best soundproofing.
Yeah.
I don't soundproof my bedroom.
Or for reflections at least, because it's just there's no flat
it kind
walls.
of scatters. So I'm not.
It's interesting what you're saying about just I want this type of sound. Oh, if I hit that, I'll make that type of sound. I think a lot of people forget that. As in, like, loads of interesting old records and stuff where they're like, how did you get that synth sound with the? And it's like, no, that's just me going. Or whatever. Or like.
Or like Jungle with the horns. And they're just going...
Yeah. I was listening to the episode. Yeah. That's so cool.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, we were like... But it's like, of course, you just make that sound. But yeah, the Depeche Mode, that... I think it was a song that was used on like the Close show back in the day with that gong, gong, gong. And it's just... It's layered with a synth as well, but like they just sampled that.
That's cool. That's why it sounds...
So we spend ages synthesizing it. Like, you don't need to just sample it. In an age of samplers, like...
I think especially when I've had such a cheap setup for years, like the only option is, and also I'm someone that wants like, I want something instantly. So I'm not waiting to
program a synth
or like order some percussive thing. It's like, I can make that and I want to make that in the next 2 minutes because I've got an idea. Or I'm making it with my mouth.
And it brings its own unique sound as well, like by doing that, by using rice or, like all the kind of things for percussion you get. It's not like something everybody's got.
Yeah.
But so much of what the signature of your sound is sampling things around the place. It's really apparent in your work.
Yeah.
Like that there's, whether it's the baseball bat sound in Swing or like, there are just so many examples of it. It's
the wooden spoons in green grass.
Yeah.
Shout out to wooden spoons. Honestly, such a good sound. And chopsticks as well. I use a lot of chopsticks. Like, best beater in the biz. If you want a little tap, there's chopsticks lying around everywhere in my room.
you must have tried some weird stuff though that's snuck into tracks that maybe.
Well, my favourite is if you slam a microwave door, unbelievable snare sound. So good, because you get such a slam. Like, how microwaves just always sound pretty violent.
Yeah, like washing machine doors as well, similar kind of, because it's got like a latch and a clatter.
Yeah, this is the thing with all these natural sounds, is they have so much like natural variation. There's this imperfection that I think we're really drawn to as imperfect beings. Like we love electronic music, but normally there is some kind of weirdness that draws us to something. When there's this sort of mass draw to something, it's normally quite an imperfect human aspect of it that we love. And back to like the psychology of music as well, I think our brains are very clever, and I don't think even if you manipulate a natural sound, I think your brain can still tell it came from something natural. Even if you can't, even if you're not consciously making that connection, you're just going, oh, there's something about this that I like. And if you hear these kind of everyday sounds that you hear in your world buried in music you're listening to, I think it feels very familiar and homely and part of your world already. It
can be dangerous too, though, because when you recognise a sound or you get somebody explains a sound, like the microwave door snares, maybe they'll hear that now.
That's good though. Do you not want to hear a little snare when you're heating up your pot noodle?
My example of that is I was a lecturer a long time ago. We were looking at the movie Aliens and the Foley sounds in it.
Yeah.
And when the massive 6-wheel lander thing they have comes to a halt and it's like, and we had interviews with the guys and they were like, oh, that's just a London bus pulling up. And then every time I watch the movie, it's like
the magic's gone.
Oh, if you know the source of
and then you hear it and then you picture just a bus.
Like this is,
and not like a spaceship.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like when you found out about the Wilhelm scream, like that's in loads, and I hear it all the time now.
Yeah, you got to be careful, I think, about the information you share over the Foley, because it's got to it's got to add to the story.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and I think for pop songs that's fine, right? Everyone's like, oh, cool, that's in there. But if I was like, this is actually a really like serious excerpt from a political speech I've hidden in the bridge of I Love Life.
In reverse.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in reverse. You know what I mean? Like you got to
backmasked,
think about what you're using. Yeah. But I think tactile human sounds really draws us to things, which I love.
How did you discover that the microwave door was a great snare? Was there a moment?
I was desperate. You know when you're looking for a snare sound.
Oh, so you were looking for a snare sound. It wasn't like an accidental, angry microwave meal.
No, it was...
Well, the irony is she had 18 microwaves.
What brand do you use?
This actually happened in Curry's.
I was going to say, I was in a John Lewis. I was going crazy.
Sorry, madam, can I help you? Not now.
You don't want to see me in there. I've been banned from Curry's for life.
How much reality is that? Was it at home? Was it in a Curry's?
It was at home. It was just my microwave. Just my microwave at home. Got my iPhone out. Just voice memos.
Still got that microwave?
Yeah. No. Wow, that was a roller coaster. No, my parents changed it.
Gutted. Do they not know the history of that?
It's actually in a museum now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in a tip, isn't it?
Yeah.
Landfill. But
hang on, chuck it in again.
Yeah, so in the studio we're talking 10 microwaves. No, just clutter everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's free soundproofing too. It doubles up. Like I want thick curtains, all this kind of like bedroom stuff. I've never struggled with room sound, and I've never soundproofed any of the bedrooms I've worked in. It's just like there's enough soft furnishings in there, and then also I'm not recording in like a cupboard or something, so like the space is big enough. I record very hot, like very close to the mic, so like I'm having to turn the gain down enough because of how close I am to the mic that then you're not getting any of the room noise anyway. So two birds, one stone. Loads of samples and no room noise.
And that bed, I imagine, is quite a good bass trap.
Yeah, you know what? I never even thought of that. That's true.
I'm sticking to my previous statement.
You're on board with this. Once again, acoustic purposes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I love it.
As long as it's a trapping bass and not people, Will.
Yeah, that's what you got to hope. Yeah. It's in the studio. Also, natural light super important. I'm a plant.
Plants and windows.
I've thought about the lighting quite a lot in this because I'm a lighting fan. I want sunset lamps. I want lava lamps. I specifically want my dad to hook up the lights because he is obsessed with lighting. He's incredible. He's decked out my current flat with just loads of like programmable coloured lighting.
Like moods and like,
He has constantly got like a roll of LED strips ready to go at any point. I want presets on presets. I want groovy mode. I want party mode. I want
Cyberpunk
mellow
mode.
I want one.
Cyberpunk mode.
Cyberpunk mode. Hell yeah. I want
just
some of that.
Blue and pink.
some of this, all of it. And then I want what I have in my current studio, which is a fat filming light that I point at like the sort of wall ceiling, just sort of upper wall, and I turn it to max, and it's like the sun, the heart of the sun,
and reflects back.
Yeah, and it's constant, like sunny day. Basically, I'm such a plant. If I'm not in a really well lit room, I'm getting pretty
sad. The sad disease,
I do genuinely medically have sad as well. But so I want natural light, but also I need unnatural light. I need my own synthetic sun.
Okay, well, let's start building.
Let's go.
We've got the spare bedroom studio ready.
We have.
So first is your 3 free items. So computer.
We're going MacBook Pro. I need portable.
Okay.
I'm using Logic, so we gotta have a Mac.
Okay. Also, you're going door.
Also, I've already jumped to door, but
doors Logic.
With the MacBook, I want top spec. And biggest screen as well. I want
16-inch.
16-inch. Like I currently have a 16-inch, and it's so heavy, and I regret nothing because I want to see as much as possible. Just absolutely like souped up to the nines. I want
all laptops seem light nowadays, though.
You have not felt my brick.
No, but in real terms, but you used to. Do you remember the Macs that had like the big border around? Was they like 17-inch?
I had a 17-inch for a bit, and it was crazy.
Yeah. But anyway,
it's a lot of real estate.
Also compared to what it's doing, right? It's actually crazy. I
think I just got used to old PC laptops back in the day being so heavy. Honestly, it happens to me this morning. Because I forget it's in my bag. Because it used to be like, oh, the laptop's in there, and now it's is that there? Somebody taking it?
You think
constant paranoia. Yeah. And this
great.
is a Pro, but like, I couldn't imagine a MacBook Air or something. I'd feel like I'd lost it all the time.
Slipping through my fingers.
Okay, so we got with Mac Logic.
Yep, Mac Logic. That's
audio
just my
interface.
favorite. Oh, so I've just used Focusrite interfaces forever, really, and
the red ones.
The red ones, you know the ones. I'm going for my current interface just because I know how to use it. It's great. Focusrite Claret Plus 8 Pre. Loads of ins, loads of outs.
Great.
I like the Focusrite control I see in my dreams. So, I can... I'm at home there. It's quick. It's just.
Is that like the routing software that comes with it and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, we're pretty high end though on the Focusrite lane range there.
It's a good interface.
We're not talking Scarlets.
No, Claret. A cut above.
Yeah, a cut above. That was given to me by Focusrite actually. And they were like, "What do you want?" I was like, "Well, I want the best you got."
Should have asked for one of their desks.
Not in my bedroom. You're not fitting that in.
Okay,
it's a stretch.
Well, we've locked those in, and that was easy. Now we get onto slimming it down to just 6 items. Item number 1.
Okay, item number 1 is I already own, but I need it. It's my Kala ukulele. I think ukuleles are really they were done dirty.
Is that why I've seen you playing on? Sorry to interrupt. On because I actually was thinking, was it a uke when I was watching it? You were on like a canal boat going around London, little live show thing. Is that what you're playing there? Yeah,
ukulele.
Sounds amazing.
It sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
They were done so dirty by people on YouTube singing "Hey Soul Sister" in the 2010s. I just think like we really pigeonholed the ukulele. But I love nylon strings. I was torn for this item. I was torn between this or like a classical guitar, which I love as well. But like nylon strings, I think are so enticing and also very versatile because I think their sound changes massively wherever you are on the fretboard. Like you can get something really like tight and plucky or something really kind of woody and warm that sounds so much nicer to me than like metal strings basically. So I mess with ukuleles, like the sound, the post-processing you can do on them is I keep talking about songs that aren't out yet, but I have another song. My EP is coming out in like a few months, so you'll hear it by the time this comes out. Maybe all the songs will be out, but there's a song on the EP that has this like weird glitchy synth that is me, that was originally just like a finger plucking pattern on a ukulele that I distorted and resampled over and over and over again, and it's just completely unrecognizable. But again, it's like if the source sound is natural and imperfect, you end up, even through all of this mad processing, you still have this sound that has that core energy in it. So yeah, I like to do a lot with the ukulele. It's really good.
And how long have you had that one? Specific?
This Carla I've had for year and a half.
So these quite, I mean, I don't know much about ukuleles. I mean, is this high end in the world of ukuleles?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty high end, I would say. It's like, it's as high end, I'm sure, I mean, there'll be vintage ukuleles.
There's always something, but
it's pretty, it's not like 20 quid off Amazon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a really nice one. And you can tell because...
Well, that's why I questioned even if it was a ukulele when I saw that video, because I was like, this sounds amazing. Like,
it's like, it's a professional instrument. You see what I mean? They've been done dirty.
Yeah, you have,
They are gorgeous, and when they're made well as well, like, they just sound beautiful.
And you had that with it when you were doing that gig, and you had the acoustic guitarist as well. It paired so well together, and like, it was really nice. Yeah,
beautiful sound. Big up the ukes.
Okay, item number 2.
Item number 2 is I want a Lewitt LCT 1060 microphone.
Okay.
So I currently have a Lewitt LCT 640. I love it.
What are we on today?
What are we on?
These are Rays.
Okay.
Lewitt Rays.
Oh, nice. I've never tried one of these before. We'll find out in post.
We will indeed.
So I had, it's in heaven now. It broke literally the other week, so I'm just in the process of reviving the sweet microphone. But because it broke, I started looking into like what the next models up were, and I was like, "What the hell is this 1060?" And it has like has a vacuum tube in it, and which basically feels like it models my current setup, which is I have the Lewitt, which is modelled off, well, not explicitly, but it feels like it's modelled off the AKG series that I started with, the C14. It has the exact same kind of like tone and feel, and my voice sits really nice in it.
So is the 214 like a lower down model of the 414? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So then with the Lewitt LCTs, you've got the LCT 440, 640.
Yeah. Okay.
And up. And so it feels in the same world. So when I first got it, it was barely like I changed microphones, which is really nice. Like the frequency response is a bit different. I think the Lewitt's a bit brighter, but it's really just works for me. Works great. But then, so the setup I have is that mic, and then I have a Behringer Ultra Gain mic 2200, which is like a vacuum tube preamp basically, that I've used forever. I think my dad had it lying around at work. For context, my dad works in video games, and so there's like random gear in the office sometimes, and so sometimes he'd like yoink a little something for me. And so there was this Behringer preamp that I've used forever, and then one day I decided to bypass it because I was like, I've never bypassed this. Like, what's this doing? And I was like, wow, it's doing so much. This sounds amazing. And so basically, the 1060 feels like it's my current system, but in one mic. And it comes with like its whole own interface that's mental, and you can choose like how much of it runs through the tube.
Okay.
And you've got like
I see.
Something like 16 polar patterns on it. It's absolutely crazy. Like the kind of before it's even hit the laptop.
So is it mic modelling as well?
No, but it's there are 4 different tube characteristics in it, and it has, as you say, a polar pattern control where it's just sort of endless, or 16.
Yeah, I can't tell from the knob whether it's a continuous thing or like a...
And
I think once you get to 16,
Yeah,
You may as well. Right.
Exactly.
Splitting hairs at that point, no? Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that is like a step up from my current system, and it's a system that I know works, that I'm really comfortable with.
Well, that's a $4 grand mic, was it? It's a
yes,
it's a Spenny.
I'm finding
there's a reason I don't have it right now.
So I'm seeing the LCT 1040 here, which is it's a beautiful thing.
Reviewed by MusicTech, I see as well. So, yeah, £3,000. So that's a Forever Studio weighty choice.
Really weighty,
Yeah.
good choice, and
Okay.
also like nice to have something that's got that tube sound, but also really modern and clean. So
It is so clean. It's so nice, and just from my experience with the 640, like it just works really nicely with my voice in my setup. It just seems to work. So I'm generally someone that if I find something that works, I'm not super into. I will try other stuff, obviously, but if I find something that works, like, great. If I want to upgrade it, then like I will upgrade within that series, because there's something in that that's working for me. I'm not going to like sidestep to just a completely different model just because it's more expensive or this studio uses it or this person uses it. Like I know what's working for me.
But it's like Mixcraft all over again, right? It's
Yeah.
like you're trying to get the idea out into the world rather than messing about with changing the fundamentals of your recording chain or anything.
Your equipment is just the starting point. It's what you do with it, and sometimes limitations are better. You know, like maybe something isn't as high tech, but if you become really good at using it, I have no doubt that the way I sing by this point is probably influenced by the mic I use, because I have so much live feedback with when I'm singing what sounds good. I'm going to sing so that it sounds good, and that's going to be inherently linked to how this particular mic sounds. And so it's sort of like you're picking
team
a
up
partner.
with your equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so lock in the Lewitt.
Locked.
Yeah.
Item number 3.
I want the grottiest vintage Fender jazz bass. Old, just done in. I like a really dead...
What date era?
I don't mind.
Do you want to take it off a musician that you admire?
No.
No.
I just want something... The problem is, I want to try it out, right? Like, I don't know what other people like. I don't know what works for them might not work for me. In my dream, if we're talking dream...
We are. Fantasy Forever.
I go into a room full of...
microwaves.
Again?
I microwave the
This
bass.
Very good. Very
Imagine
good.
all 6 items are just different models of microwave.
I'll take the Bosch. Indesit.
I like the miel.
Nice.
That one has a
Top
nice
end.
bell.
Deep cut.
It's quite a nice bell on this one. The door's better on that one. Yeah.
Oh, don't even get me started on the button noises. God, so many samples.
A room full of the basses and you can try them all out.
Yeah. I want to find what plays nice for me. I've got genuinely the tiniest hands in the world. So as a bass player, not great. I want a nice thin neck. But I like basses that I guess are quite dead.
So like flat wound strings as well, as opposed to round wounds?
I could have flat wound. Again, it's about the combo. Like some things I think are going to sound really nice with flat wound and don't. But I conceptually love flat wound. But I do find I slip.
Yeah.
I'm used to being absolutely grated to pieces by like a nice sandpaper string.
Nice.
Work those calluses.
We love it. So, yeah, I want to try a bunch out and then pick, it's like in Harry Potter getting a wand. You know what I mean? It's like you just sort of connect with it.
Okay.
I have a great quote actually from, shout out to George, who I'm currently borrowing my current Fender Jazz from. And because I got a new Fender recently, and he just texted me going, yeah, you should bury that in your back garden. As like, just mess it up. It's like new things out the box, especially like basses. They're very
Lee
bright.
Scratch Perry as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Bury it.
Bury it, yeah.
Gives it a different vibe.
Yeah.
And depending on where you bury it as well.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
true that.
Yeah.
True that. Well, I'm going to bury it in my garden that I have.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
So you're going to pet cemetery your bass, basically, are you?
Yeah, basically.
I hope you replied to your friend, to George. It's like, you should bury it. Where am I going to bury it? I don't have a garden.
Yeah.
George.
We just got into a really big debate about real estate in London.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically just like one that's been used is for me is nice, and I want to DI that bad boy in. I don't want to run it through nothing. I want that to just plug in, sound beautiful, which is kind of what my current one does. It's a like a 2015 Mexican Fender Jazz.
Okay, nice.
And I love it. It's so playable. And yeah, it's just lost all that like brightness that a new bass has, that is works great for some things, but for me, I want it to feel like proper. It's a jazz bass. You want it to sound like it's in a jazz record.
Sound like it's described.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, it's locked in. Item number 4.
Item number 4, that I had to pick a plugin, and I know the rules.
Go on.
This is so intense. I love sound toys.
Okay.
Excellent.
The finger hovering over.
I'm ready to go.
I had to pick one, but I have some honourable mentions because it's like picking your favourite child.
Sure.
Sound Toys Devil Lock Deluxe for me is unbeatable. It is the like cornerstone of my vocal chain, which I learned from Charlie, who you had in literally. Can I say this?
Yeah.
You had this in literally an hour ago.
Yeah.
Shout out Charlie Deacon Davies. They showed me. They were like, "This is not meant to go on vocals. It's like a saturator compressor. It's supposed to go on kind of guitar. It's not supposed to go on anything, but it's designed to be more for guitars and stuff." And they were like, "Yeah, put it on my vocal. It sounds unreal." And so I did it, and I was like, "Oh, this changed the game." It just immediately just adds. You've got crunch, and you've got, what is it? You've got Google Images.
Crush.
Oh, crunch and crush.
And darkness and mix.
And I don't touch darkness because it's dark enough already.
Don't touch darkness.
Whoa!
I don't touch the darkness.
So superstitious.
Yeah. The lyrics have changed.
Yes.
This isn't fun anymore.
Don't touch the
You
darkness.
just start dialing it up, and the song just gets slower, and
The drones emerge.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just writes a whole new song
Yeah.
for you. But yeah, it's just, especially for kind of like an alt pop vocal, it's this really nice place where it's feeling poppy with the amount of compression on it, but this crunch element just gives it this grit that makes it a little bit less pleasant. You know, it's not like la la la. It's like la la la.
yeah,
You know, it's got some crisp, some crunch.
personality. It gives it personality beyond just like a clean pop vocal. Yeah,
exactly. So that's like really the key. This kind of the main thing in my vocal chain.
So is this the honourable mention, or is this the actual?
This is the actual one.
Okay.
The honourable mentions are Sound Toys Crystallizer.
Okay.
Beautiful, like it's kind of like a weird delay, but it does a lot of like reversing in it, so it's just beautiful for Atmos basically. I throw it on instead of delay a lot because it fills the space in a similar way, but it just adds like a little bit more weirdness to it.
Where can we hear that on your releases?
It's all over Guts, my latest single.
Yeah, nice.
Loads of crystallizer in that. There's another big honourable mention in Guts, which is Echo Boy as well. Love Echo Boy. Oh my god, sounds amazing. But between Echo Boy and crystallizer, they are absolutely holding it down in Guts. That's kind of the main wet effects going on in there. And the other one is Lo-Fi Oddity by Aberrant. And
I don't know this one.
It's just got 4 knobs, and I only use one of them.
And darkness.
No, but it's kind of along this lines
Okay.
because it's the knob doesn't even have a name. It's all got like, it's just in alien language. This one knob is just
I see.
Oh, you've got corruption, comp tape, and then alien language.
alien language. And if you turn up alien language, the alien language starts to blur and like glitch out. But it's like a reverb delay, but with like loads of tape effects on it. And it's
free.
It's free, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't pay a penny. That's good.
Yeah.
Didn't even remember. Yeah, everyone get it. It's great. This one alien knob. It's really good, and it's just I just really like kind of wet effects that aren't just doing the basic. There's like a kind of tone to it, and this one's just weird and so, like especially on BVs. If you want a BV to sit in a different space and really fill space, that does such a good job of that. I have a thing. I don't know whether that's what you're referring to, where I try not to get multiple versions of, because I got into a bad habit of it, of having the same plugins, like 12 different compressor plugins, just find the one, and a lot of the time the one in your DAW is fine. So it's effects like that and plugins like that are really genuinely innovative, and they're genuinely the plugins that you need more than like, because you could have 1,000 reverbs, 1,000 delays, 1,000, all the stuff that comes standard with your DAW times 10.
Easily.
I mean, so I didn't have any third-party plugins until a couple years ago. I used just stock.
But all the ones you've mentioned there are all very unique.
But speaking of stock, demo song in Logic 11.
Yes.
Wild. Genuinely wild. Like, if you told me when I was screaming at Logic in my music classroom that my song
don't worry, soon they'll come to you.
Yeah. Literally, like, if you told me that my song would be in it as like an example of how to use the software, oh my God. And especially just made in my bedroom, just made with really like not that much fancy stuff.
Give us the rundown though. So literally, was it when you were contacted? We don't need to know about it. You were contacted, but was it just like send them the project and that's it, or did you have to remake some things to make it like Logic, or did they help with that?
They helped massively with that, because
I guess you would have had some. No, you didn't have third party. You said
no third party, but it needed to be kind of like remodeled visually to make it as what's what I'm looking for, intuitive for someone just coming into the project. So they did a lot of kind of like grouping and moving around, and it doesn't
labeling, colouring, all of that kind of stuff.
And this is pre-mix as well, because at that point I was sending off to shout out Lee Smith, amazing mix engineer. So it was pre-mix, so we wanted to make sure it sat in a space where like it still sounded closer to the master, but you're getting into just pre-mix production. But they took care of a lot of that, and basically I had to do the initial tidy up, and then I sent it over, and then they played around with it, sent it back, made sure that I was happy with it.
But how did they get, because you hear a song on the radio, you don't think, oh, that's made in Logic. You must have talked about using Logic or worked with somebody, and then it comes through like that way.
So I've been kind of chatting with Logic for years now, because I put out a production breakdown of that first track I was speaking about, Space Out. I put a production breakdown on YouTube literally years ago through lockdown, and they got in touch, and they were just like, we've just came across this, we love what you're doing with the software. And I was like, okay, cool. I remember we met over Zoom, and they were really,
not
really
FaceTime.
lovely. No. Well, actually, it wasn't even over Zoom. It was over whatever the
WebEx
Apple one is.
something.
WebEx, thank you.
Is that Apple?
Specifically?
I think they're corporate people use that.
I didn't even think, but they have to be so like secure about all this stuff as well, because they would just be like spying on each other, I imagine. But so we kind of got in touch, and then they were just sort of like, cool, well, when the timing's right, we want to help you. We love what you're doing. Like, let's just keep in touch. And so over the years, so even before that, they sent me one of the new M-chip MacBooks before it was on public sale, and I got to try it out and feedback on it, and speak to the guys in Silicon Valley even about how the M-chips work, which is really interesting.
But you didn't have to make the Logic project for them. That Logic project was made, and they took it and did that with it. That's what I mean. There was no conversation of like, we'd like to feature you in the next Logic. Just be aware of that when you're next making your song. No. They basically got in contact. They were like, I can't remember when this was, maybe 2 years ago, and they said, we'd love to put one of your songs in the software. Do you have one in mind? Amazing.
And then I said, babe, this one is all Logic. Couldn't be more Logic if it tried. Yeah. This is all stock.
That's so great that it's authentic and everything, though. Like, just that's why I was pushing on that, because you don't know how these things work.
Yeah,
that's
great. It's completely.
Yeah.
And again, that was just coming out of me not wanting to spend a bunch of money as well, and also just being able to work within the software, you know. And again, that goes back to just learning the fundamentals back in the day. So most of these fancy plugins you can kind of recreate if you stack enough stock. Yeah. If you stack enough EQs, compressors, vibratos, whatever, you might get to that thing. And granted, it's long, and now I pick and choose these unique things that would take me a very long time to make from first principles. But I don't know, I just really pushed all the stock to its limit before I started upgrading, and I think that's made me a lot smarter with not spending loads of money on plugins.
But it's how you know what's going on behind the scenes of these mad plugins as well. Like, a lot of them are just kind of like macros of lots of different layers of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, we're locked in on that, right? The devil lock.
Mm-hmm.
Devil lock is locked.
It's locked.
Hell yeah.
Item number 5.
My current desk. My dad built it for me. It's custom. It's beautiful. It's got it's like my happy place. It's got a slide out keyboard.
Furniture desk.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, not mixing desk.
Yeah. You can.
I love we're on a tech podcast and I'm like, so furniture.
Microwaves.
Yeah.
You can get the desk.
That can be included in your
or it could be the luxury item. Yeah. Let's get to that. Let's talk studio kit.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
You've got two items left.
Okay. I want the Teenage Engineering EP 1320. It's a little medieval synth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got to use it yet, and everyone's been sending it to me. So my whole latest EP is like super kind of like fantastical medieval. And it came, and as soon as I started doing this campaign, they released a synth, and I was like, this is destiny.
Yeah.
This is made for me. And so I've just been chomping at the bit to get my hands on one and start to play with it, because it just looks insane.
I haven't played with it, have you?
I've played with it. It's a lot of fun, actually.
Is it? I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I played with one a few months back, and the sounds are ridiculous, but also, like, it's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I think there's, like, it's useful for about one thing, but But I'm going to have a great time. You can have a great time
especially
with it,
if my EP is kind of all one thing.
Yeah.
Because currently I'm in medieval mode.
And perfect for that. I mean, the sorts of sounds that you have, like peasants, for instance.
Perfect.
Just a bit of peasant noise.
Sometimes I'm craving a good peasant noise, you know?
And it's also, it's got also sort of medieval
lutes.
Instruments. And
has it got lutes?
Is it lutes?
I don't know.
It's a while ago. I played it now. But it has an arpeggiator as well.
Yeah, it does.
I think it's a super cool thing. It looks incredible. That's the other thing. Like, it's got that brilliant sort of goldy look to it.
The cases you can get.
It's
nice.
It's super cool.
Okay,
great choice.
Thank you.
Have you used any of the other Teenage Engineering stuff?
I currently have an OP1.
Okay.
Oh, brilliant! So
great.
you know the workflow and stuff.
Yeah, it's great. It's so I think it's so intuitive. It's so good for writing in particular as well. There's a cool artist called Willow Kane, and I spoke with her a couple years ago because she writes like really interesting music. And I was like, what do you write? But like, what's your process? She was like, I just sit on the OP1. I was like, what? What are you writing on this thing? And I used to love watching these videos. Have you seen Red Means Recording?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like watching them just use the OP1 so like fluidly and satisfyingly.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I love the synths on it, like Cow Synth, big up. I don't know what it's... Does it have a name?
Cow Synth on OP1, yeah.
Yeah.
As in it just mooing?
It's not mooing,
it's
but
a picture of a cow.
It's moo-esque.
It's moo-esque.
It's moo adjacent.
What do they call that? Cow Synth OP1.
You get some weird Google results.
Cow Synth. Some may call it a moog.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for, guys.
I must be thinking of other synths.
Oh, lovely.
What'd you say?
He was thinking of other synths.
No.
Oh, very nice.
let's lock in the Teenage Engineer and move on from my punnage. Yeah. Final item number 6.
Final item, because I currently can't hear anything.
Yeah.
I think my mixing headphones I'm going to go with, because they're the most portable. They are the most comfortable headphones I've ever used. They're the Sennheiser HD 650.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, popular choice. Yeah.
Like, so comfy. They're the most kind of like flat sound I've had, where I don't feel like I'm battling through a lens, you know. It's really like, they're so clean and they're so comfy, and I'll bring them to sessions, and anyone, like any singer who's recording, will put them on and be like, oh my god, what are these? Because you know, like the D770s, like really, well, most of them really are like, the classic studio headphones are all very round.
But do you not get loads of spill if you're using them with singers, because they're open backs, right?
Not a lot of spill. Right. I don't get a whole bunch, but I guess I tend to be quite conscious about spill, where I keep my level kind of low when I'm recording anyway.
Yeah.
And I like a bit of spill.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I've actually got a song coming out, the weird time signature one, that had loads of spill in it, because I was recording, I recorded like basically all of it on a SM7B, literally with the monitors playing into the room. And so it was just unbelievable bleed, and it's made such a weird universe in the song. So I think bleed's kind of cool. It adds almost like extra effects. I mean, shout out to my mix engineers.
I was gonna say, yeah,
they're dealing with that.
Bleed's cool. They're like, oh god,
good stuff. They're like, I don't know what stem this even is. But it tends to not be a problem, again, because of kind of how close I am to my mic when I'm recording. And I think, obviously, it depends on where I am and what I'm doing. But for at least this Forever Studio works really well. And I keep the volume pretty low, and it works so well. And then, yeah, like when I'm mixing and producing, they're just so reliable.
And how did you come across them in the first place then?
I did a lot of Googling.
Right.
Mostly. I wanted open back, because the previous headphones I used were open back, and then I got some that weren't, and it was just so boomy, and I hated it, and I just couldn't get on with it, and I'd get a headache. Didn't like it at all. So I knew I needed open back, and I just went on such a Google deep dive for ages, and then I was like, I think these are the ones. And also they make it oval, because our ears are oval, not circles. You want that to sit, and I'm sitting mixing for ages, you know, like this needs to sit and be comfy. And so ordered them, and I was like, well, sometimes research does pay off. So nice. That's my fave. And shout out to my Adam audio monitors. But so if I'm only having one thing, I think I would have headphones, because I'm recording all in one room.
Yeah, well, that makes perfect sense. Bedroom studio vibe as well. It's a perfect fit for that environment.
Before we get to the luxury item, we get Will to do you a rundown, describe what we've just built.
Please.
See how this sounds to you in terms of Fantasy Forever Studio. Okay, Ellie Dixon, here we go.
We're in London.
Yeah.
In a spare bedroom studio in your home. You have a garden.
Oh.
The dream. Inside the studio, you have nice rugs, heaps of clutter, Mike Wazowski in a Hot Wheels, thick curtains, natural light, sunset lamps, lava lamps, and a synthetic sun.
Yeah.
For your 3 free
As in
items.
the star in the sky, not like AI, the movie. Not like some kind of robot Pinocchio.
Not a robot. Do you want a robot Pinocchio? It's a luxury item? No, we'll get back to it.
Luxury item, a child.
A synthetic sun.
My offspring.
Sorry, well, go on.
Yeah.
Thick curtain.
It's a big lamp.
Yeah.
Your 3 free items. For your computer, you have a MacBook Pro 16-inch, 48 gigs of RAM, 8 terabyte drive.
Oh, good stuff.
Top spec. Interface is a Focusrite Claret Plus 8 Pre. Your DAW, of course, is Logic Pro 11.
Of course. Shout out.
For your 6 items, you have chosen your own Kala ukulele. For a mic, you've chosen the Lewitt LCT 1040. For your bass, you have decided to find a vintage Fender bass, bury it, and then dig it up again.
Yeah. Nice.
For a plugin, you have Soundtoys Devil Lock Deluxe. Your penultimate choice is the Teenage Engineering EP 1320 sampler. And your final choice is a pair of Sennheiser HD 650 headphones.
That's popping.
That work for you?
That's good.
Sounds all right, doesn't it? Sounds okay.
So when do I get it?
Okay.
We're working on it.
And obviously we touched on this. It doesn't have to be your luxury item, but you have one more item left that isn't a bit of studio kit. So tell us what that might be.
So I completely independently thought of this, and it turns out so did Charlie. This is completely independently, but I want a magic microphone arm from the ceiling, specifically.
Yeah.
I'm adding magic because you said luxury.
Yeah.
So I'm going fantastical.
And there's nothing more luxury than magic, is there?
That's true.
That's
what all magicians say.
It's the ultimate luxury.
magic is the ultimate luxury. God.
Right.
Precisely. To quote Dynamite.
Yeah.
So...
Or Potter.
To himself, yeah. So I want it from the ceiling. I want XLR is sort of like tucked up and in. I'm not worrying about that. It's going into my desk. I'm not worried about that. It's sort of like it's on a sort of infinite... Sorry, I keep looking up because basically it's coming down from the ceiling. You're like, where is it?
I'm picturing it.
It's on like a full two-dimensional track.
Yeah.
Like it can be positioned at any point.
Like those cameras
ceiling.
above a football stadium.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But no wires. It can just go anywhere you want.
Because it's magic.
Because it's magic. And there's no twisty things. There's no worrying about re-screwing because the thing's got loose.
Yeah.
Nothing's drifting.
Okay, we get how it works.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I have never had a working microphone arm. Like within days, it's sagging, it's drifting.
Yeah. That's fair.
Like for me, the process of and also then being able to move it, like setting up mic stands to be in the right place, stay in the right place, wherever you are in the room.
You're just tripping over the legs, they're always in the way. Then if you have two close together, the one's on top of the other. Yeah.
Falling about, like I want it to be super accessible, and it means that I can record anywhere in the room super quick. If I'm in a session, I can just like chuck it over. Yeah. And it's just the most like streamlined way of holding a microphone, and it's not taking up any floor space because it's coming from the ceiling.
Okay.
It's a great shout.
Luxurious.
It is luxurious.
We have it locked in, the magic microphone arm.
I think somebody needs to just design this now.
There are similar things though. Like I remember Red Bull Studios in London had a similar thing to try and keep stuff off because it was a small space, because they had to set up, as we have in this room, break the fourth wall here, but cameras on stands as well. If you're trying to shoot in a studio and then you've got mics on stands, it's just all stands. It's
so my room at some points is just pure stands. I just can't. It's too much real estate. I want to be dancing as well.
Turn it upside down. Stands on the ceiling.
Stands on the ceiling.
What a feeling.
What a feeling. When there's mic stands on the ceiling.
Oh, look,
and that's the end of the podcast. Actually is, but yeah.
You're making so much merch slogans.
Yeah. Okay, well, there we are. It's locked in. We've got the magic microphone on. We've got the 6 items. How do you feel about it?
I'm buzzing. That's great.
Well,
really pleased with that.
And what about you? What's going on for you right now? You say you're going on tour. Is there more music coming? What's happening?
Everything's coming. This is like the most intense week of my life right now because I'm finishing my EP. That's all going to be out before the summer. I'm about to go on a support tour, but then I'm about to announce a headline tour in the autumn all around UK and Europe. And then new music's just coming thick and fast basically. So this whole EP will be out super soon. We've got couple more singles and then the EP's out.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ellie Dixon.
Ellie Dixon.
Thanks for having me.
So much.
This was fun.
Amazing.
Well, all that's left to say is thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time for another adventure into Studio Foreverdom. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.